there, I'm Mindy from Essentials for Healthy Living with Mindy.com, and today I'm going to show you how I'm going to make a sleepy time cream that'll help you to get a really deep and restful sleep. And what I'm doing is I'm combining two of my favorites for sleep. I'm combining magnesium, which we all need more magnesium, or so they say, and essential oils to help you get a good restful sleep. Now magnesium, what a lot of people don't know, it's good for a lot of functions in our body. But what a lot of people don't know is that magnesium is best absorbed topically. So when they've done studies of topical and letting it absorb through the skin versus taking an oral supplement, our body absorbs and utilizes much better the magnesium when it's used topically. I guess it breaks down too much when it has to go through the digestive system. So I really prefer using it topically, and I have found that it's really great for giving me restful sleep. And then when I combine with the power of my favorite essential oils, it's going to make it even that much better. So I made my first batch yesterday, tried it out last night. I slept great. A friend was over here when I made it, and she tried it out, said she got sleepy really quick after using it and slept all night long, which is really rare for her, she says. So I'm really happy that it's working the way I had expected and hoped that it would. Now, we're going to get started with the first step. And what we're going to do first is I like to use the magnesium flakes because they're very, very full of magnesium. You're going to get a lot of bang for your buck with these. And so what I'm doing here, and I'm sorry my screen isn't bigger. I don't have a professional video crew here. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take 2 cups, if I can find my measuring cup. 1 sec. Haha. 2 cups of the magnesium flakes, and I just realized that the bowl I have is going to be too little. So, yeah, I'm super professional here today. Ha! Okay, this is real life, folks. Now, this is really actually very simple, and this type of thing, once you start doing it and you have these few basic ingredients, you'll be able to make all kinds of things, from lotion bars to lip balms, deodorants, shaving creams, and it's just so easy and so much better for you and so much cheaper. Okay, so now I'm going to get my 2 cups of the magnesium flakes, and let me move my camera down here so y'all can hopefully see what I am doing. There we go. Okay. Now, 2 cups of magnesium flakes, and okay, got that in my bowl, and then I have 3/4 of a cup of boiling water that I just boiled, and what I'm going to do is add that in here into my magnesium flakes, and I'm just going to stir it up, and it's going to take a few minutes, but this is going to dissolve, and it will be a real thick liquid. You want to do this before you start on your other ingredients because it takes a little bit for it to completely dissolve, but you can see that it's already off to a real good start. So you can do that, set it aside, and as you're working, just come back and occasionally stir it to help encourage it to finish dissolving. Okay, now the next step we're going to do is we're going to start adding our ingredients for the other portion of this body butter. This makes the butter part of what we're doing. So, okay, I've got my pot here, and you want to put in about 1 inch of water, and then you want to take a mason jar is what I like to use, or any kind of glass jar. And I'm going to just set this down into the water, and I'm going to add all of my things like the beeswax and the coconut oil and cocoa butter into this glass jar, and that way it can simmer over low heat and it won't overly heat these items that you're trying to gently melt. So here's what we're going to do. Now, I am increasing this recipe from what I did yesterday. So this is going to make a big batch. So when you want some to share with your friends or to give as gifts, this is a great way to do it. Now, I'm really unprepared today. Let me grab my coconut oil. Here we go. Organic coconut oil. And I am going to add 1 cup of coconut oil to this. And hey, looky, I've got a brand new jar here. And like I said, each of these, let me get one that's already open. Each of these, see, it's like you're just doing it with me in my kitchen. Like we're friends, we're hanging out doing it in my kitchen, and I don't have my act all together. You don't have to have it all together. You don't have to be perfect. Okay. So, use organic unrefined coconut oil because it still has all the good stuff intact. And I'm just going to squish it down in my measuring cup. And let me see if I can get the camera down here where y'all can see what I'm doing, rather than watch my face as I'm looking down here and doing it. Okay. Gosh, now you're going to see my messy kitchen. Huh. Okay. Okay. There we go. Got my coconut oil. I'm going to squish it down in here. Oh, organic unrefined coconut oil. Ha! I'm clumsy. It's the best because it has all the good stuff still intact. That's good for your skin, good for your thyroid and hormones, all that good stuff. So we're just going to fill this up nice and full. Scrape out every last bit so we don't waste any. Alright. That's pretty good. Doesn't have to be exact. Now, I'm just going to put that over here. Excuse my coffee cup. We're going to put that into our mason jar over here. Goodness, hey, I'm doing a video. Okay, I'm sorry for that brief interruption. My silly kids just came running in here, hollering and having fun. So, I am just finishing up putting the coconut oil into my mason jar. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the heat on to about medium heat, just below medium, because I want it to be nice and gentle as we melt it. Now the next thing we're going to put in is beeswax. Now I like to get these beeswax pastilles is what they're called, and they're nice and tiny so they melt real easy. Now it would be preferable if you have a local beekeeper to see about buying beeswax from them to support them and get something that's really pure and natural. But these are organic, and I like them because they just melt a lot faster, and it's a lot easier than having to grate a bar of beeswax. Now, I am going to put, let me see, let me find my measuring cup again, folks. Now, I'm increasing my recipe, so I'm kind of creating this one as I go, so I apologize for acting wishy-washy. But I'm going to put in half a cup of the beeswax pastilles, And I'm just going to add this directly to the coconut oil in my mason jar. I'm doing that so it won't spill out into my water. Now that water is beginning to gently heat, and I'm just going to keep adding these ingredients to this. I'm also going to stir my magnesium flakes while I'm thinking about it. I should probably put them over here so they'll also benefit from the gentle heat of the stove to encourage them to continue dissolving. Now, I've got the coconut oil and I have the beeswax. So, well, hello there. Now you get to experience my world as a klutz. Okay. Now, we're going to add some shea butter. And I want to put about half a cup of shea butter. And this is raw, unrefined shea butter. This stuff is so nice for your skin. When I'm using it to make these things, I'll sometimes just pull out a little piece and rub it on my hands just to moisturize them because it feels so great. So when you get all these nice ingredients together, we're going to have a really nice cream that's really soothing to the skin, as well as having all these other benefits. So I'm going to, let's just try sticking the measuring cup in here, and we're going to get it nice and full. This isn't too hard to work with, but it's a little thick. So let's just see what I'm doing here. It's a little thick, but it's easier to work with than the cocoa butter is when you buy it in bulk like this. Here we are. Okay. Hey, almost perfect. Okay, so then I'm going to go ahead and add the shea butter into a mason jar. Got a rag here somewhere. It's a good idea to keep a rag handy because you're going to get this stuff all over you. Okay, now get the extras out of the way. Now that shea butter goes in real thick, but it's going to melt pretty quick. All right, now, so we have the coconut oil, the beeswax, and the shea butter. And now the last thing I want to add is some cocoa butter to add extra nourishment to the skin. And I just want to do about 1/4 cup of cocoa butter on this recipe. Now, I like to buy organic cocoa butter. This one that I bought this to try it out, and I really like this. It comes in these little wafers, so you can just search for the cocoa butter wafers. But cocoa butter, it's really thick and kind of hard at room temperature, so it's just a lot easier to work with for your recipes and measure out by using these wafers. And it also melts a little faster, but I just find it easier to work with overall. That's why I like those. The same as using the beeswax pastilles. It's a convenience factor for me. And it costs about the same price as just buying it in bulk. So, works out for me. Okay, so now we have all of the ingredients for the main body butter portion. And what we're going to do is we're just going to let it sit here and simmer. And it's still coming up to a warm temp. And I'm going to come back and I'm going to stir it occasionally. I'll let you see what it looks like in there. See? And here, this is what the magnesium flakes are looking like. They're getting pretty close to being done. So I'm going to let the magnesium flakes continue to dissolve, and then I'm going to keep all these other ingredients cooking over medium heat and let them gently dissolve, and then I'll come back to you when that happens and we'll do the next step. Hey there, thanks. I'm back. And so now the coconut oil mixture has melted, so now we're ready for the next step. Now this is very short and simple. Here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna put you down here with me on my stove so you can easily see what I'm doing. Now, here's the mixture. You see it's all nice and melted. I stirred it a little bit, so everything is combined really good. Now, you want to transfer it to a bowl that you're going to be able to blend it in. I like my stainless steel bowl, and it's going to be hot, so be careful. But I'm just going to grab this, wipe off the bottom because that liquid's boiling and it will burn you if it drips on you. Now, all I'm going to do at this point is I'm simply going to transfer this mixture into my mixing bowl. And I'm going to try to let all of it drip out so none of it goes to waste. Alrighty. Now, I'm going to take this and I'm going to put it in my fridge for about 10 to 30 minutes to let it solidify and come to, well, it'll be a little cooler than room temperature, but that's more or less what we're going for. So I'll be back with you in about 20 minutes-ish. Hey there, I'm back, and now we're on the final step, and this is actually really easy. So here's what we're going to do. I have just pulled the bowl of my coconut oil mixture out of the fridge, and you see it has solidified somewhat. So I have put it here on my mixer, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to slowly mix it. Well, I'm going to beat it really good, but as I do, I'm going to slowly add in my magnesium water that I made by using the magnesium flakes and the boiling water. And so this is now at room temperature because it's just been sitting all this time dissolving. So we're going to mix this up, and we will add the magnesium water very slowly, just a spoonful at a time, until it's thoroughly mixed in. And we're going to beat it really well, because we want it to not only be mixed well, but we want it to be more or less whipped. So it'll be a nice smooth consistency. And we're going to do this until we get all of the magnesium water in there. So I'll be back with you in just a moment. Okay, so at this point, I've just finished mixing it all in. And because I added all this extra liquid, it's a little bit, it's not as thick as I want it to be. Plus, I actually pulled the mixture out of my fridge a little too soon, so the underlayer was still very liquidy. So at this point, you can go ahead and put it into your glass jars for storage, and it will go ahead and thicken up. But I really like a nice whipped texture, so I think it's going to turn out better if we go ahead and take the bowl and put it back into the fridge for another 10 minutes or so. And then we're going to pull it out and we're going to whip it one last time. Okay, so what I did was I put it back in my fridge for a little bit longer to let it firm up. And so now we're going to whip it again, and then we're going to add the essential oils. So here we go. Just going to give it a really nice texture by whipping it. And as we're whipping it, I'm going to start adding the oils. First, I'm going to add lavender. This is a really large batch, so I'm probably going to put about 50 drops of the lavender. Okay, so I've got the lavender in there, and I'm going to continue to beat it for just a minute. do it on high speed to get it really good and whipped, because that makes for a really nice texture. Now the next tool I'm going to use is cedarwood, and the lavender and cedarwood make a really great combo for helping you relax and sleep. I'm going to put about 50 drops of cedarwood. It comes out a lot slower than the lavender. It's a thicker oil. Plus one. Okay, now the last tool that I'm going to add is frankincense, and I'm going to only use about 10 drops of the frank. Now, okay, I lied, I did 15. Now, we're going to mix that in, and then I'm also going to add a little bit of vitamin E oil, because it's good for you, but it also will help to preserve this mixture a little bit longer. Just a little bit. If you have the little gel caps, you can just poke a hole in them and add about 2 gel caps to this mixture. And it's starting to get really nice and a good whipped texture here. So it's really starting to look the way that I want it to. So I'm going to turn up the speed just a little bit and whip it a tiny bit more. Let's just see how good it's looking right there. This looks like a dessert that you would want to eat, right? Okay, so we're going to finish with that real quick. And then all we have left to do is we're going to transfer it to our glass jars for storage. And I like to use mason jars. And this size right here is a pretty perfect size for this. So I believe this is... I believe it's 8 ounces. Okay. Now, how long you whip it is just, it's really a personal preference. So, I'm going to just set that aside. And here we go. Now, just going to try to get all this goodness off of the beaters here. Yes, ma'am. You stacked them well. The 5-year-old's over here stacking up the mason jars for me. Alrighty. So that is looking really great. Now I'm going to transfer them to my mason jars. And I really like this little mini scraper from Pampered Chef. It's perfect for this job. So I'm just going to carefully put it in each of these jars.
Is that for eating?
No, baby, it's not for eating. This is going to be our bedtime foot rub. And then just store it.
Is it only for kids that are scared?
It's for kids and grown-ups. Okay, listen. So then I'm just going to store it in these jars, and store this at room temperature for a few months, or you can store it in your fridge if you prefer, and it would last even longer. And what I prefer to do with this is to rub it on the bottom of my feet or my kids' feet, and then you'll want to put socks on over that so you don't ruin your floors or your sheets. And if you do it about 30 minutes before bed, it's just perfect to help you relax and drift off to a peaceful sleep. So I hope that this video has been really helpful. and that you've learned a lot. It's really very easy to make things like this. So don't be intimidated. Give it a try. If I can do it, anyone can. So I will be seeing you in my next video. Take care.